Hi viewers, welcome to a new episode of Business Compass, the GPS for your business. And it's my pleasure to have with me on the program today, Mr. Frank Abe, Manager of the Deal Advisory Service at KPMG, and Mrs. Petra Abba-Samoa, a Sales and Marketing Consultant. Welcome, Petra and Frank.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Good to have you guys here.
Great to be here.
And on today's episode, we are going to be looking at a different kind of business. This is a Ghanaian business that is cleaning up the environment, creating employment for youth, and at the same time creating beautiful pieces of clothing and shoes and accessories. And it's going to be a fascinating journey into the world of turning trash into treasure. And so stay around, and after the break you will get to meet our featured guests for today. But remember, Business Compass is proudly brought to you by Fiducia Services Limited. After the break, you'll get to meet our featured business for this week. Please stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Opel Bedwe-Mashdu. I'm the founder of J'Karta, the CEO of the business. What we do is we actually work with sustainable fashion products using the juice fabrics. Okay, so I take my inspiration generally from what I see in nature. I love things that are done ethically. So I take a lot of the inspirations with what I do by picking up on art specimens that have to do with natural designs, that have to do with things that are like even plants, what I observe about the plants, and what I pick out to be with it to come out with designs. So even in my design implications, I have things like leaves on some of our cutouts, I have things like petals, I have things that roll into like the little bulb of a flower. So I pick a lot of things that are my inspirations for this whole thing has generally been things that are made out of nature. Naturally, I'm a creative person, so a lot of things that I do come out naturally with no thought to how it should be stringent or it should be fixed. Everything should come out with a flair that should have its own bespoke way, should have its own natural way to do things. Our experiences with customers have been very good. We've got very good feedback, which has helped us improve to what we do as of today. We actually have certain products that have improved, certain products that have been added on as value because of feedback from our customers. Customer feedback is very key to what we do because what we do at J'Karta is built for the customer. We are there for the customer and with the customer. We cannot grow the business if we don't have them. So experiences with them has been great. Somehow, somewhere, we have certain challenges which has to do with outsourcing certain third-party services in meeting these customers. Some of it has to do with deliveries. We are not a big business, so we can own our own delivery company. So we have to do things that have to do with third parties that have to do with the delivery company. Sometimes timelines on delivery comes back to us, and it also comes back to saying, oh, you're not delivering on time and all that. But give or take, 100% of the experiences has been, let me say, 98% of the good talk to say to them. Challenges externally, I would say, has been with some of the customers who do not understand the product. So we had an experience where we had one customer who walked in and said, look, I bought a pillow because we do beautiful pillows. I bought a pillow from you, and you won't believe the pillow actually has the label tag 2.0 kg. Ideally, for a sustainable product that is done, those are the elements they look for internationally to see if it's a recycled product you're doing. If it is too fine, it means that you've either produced the fabric, then you're using it. It defeats the purpose of recycling. So she came in with some experience challenges. I don't want to have it anymore because I can see the writing of a sack. And I said, madam, did you read about what a bellap is? It's just a sack. That is what I work with. Oh, I thought it was a fine fabric. And sometimes it becomes very difficult dealing with these customers, trying to explain to them. So you just don't have to snap out angrily. You have to sometimes manage their expectations. You have to educate them because some of them do not know. It's to be educated through the principles of business, focusing lines on where we will be able to actually adjust in terms of our spends, in terms of how we can actually account back for the business. Another big promising thing we're looking at as well is to be able to find angel donors where in that situational positions it just doesn't have to come in support, but angel donors who are in terms of who can train the teams, angel donors who can actually finance certain machineries we need to get, and as well from my expectation of the business to come back home to Jakarta and make sure that we're bringing a wealth of knowledge to add to the value of the business we produce.
Such a pleasure to have in the studio of Business Compass Ms. Ogbel Bedwe-Majub, the founder of J'Karta Jute Ltd. Welcome, Ogbel.
Thank you, Charlotte.
So tell us, how did you get into this business?
Okay, so I'm a very creative person, and I decided, why don't I just use my creativity to do things that save the earth, as well as make sure that I'm bringing in more youthful people that have the art skills into business sense. What happens is, with what I did was I started a journey. By virtue of education, I found myself in banking.
Okay.
Due to the financial crisis of the economy and all those crises that happen within the banking sector, I decided to take something out of that business. With all those things I have picked and had learned through the corporate organizations period, I decided to now come into the real world and produce products that are made out
I
of...
like the way you say come into the real world. I think the corporate world is not the real world.
The corporate world is it's very organized.
Yes.
So when you are in the corporate world, it's very easy to have things done.
Structure.
Certain structures are done. So it's very easy. This time around, you're dealing with something that has to be created, something that has to come out to give you a story.
And you're relying on artisans who don't have that kind of structure.
You're relying on artisans that don't have the structure, don't have the knowledge, don't have the standards to what you're facing, and you're ready to meet the world market.
Imagine the journey you've been on.
Yes.
Let's see some of your stuff.
Okay. So we actually have lines of products which have to do with clothing.
Okay.
We have shoes. We have that for bags. Okay. And then we have accessories.
Okay. Let's see the bags.
We have the bags. Currently, this is for our ladies.
Just pass it on.
Okay, so this is for our ladies' bags. We complement all the bags that we do.
Just bring everything up.
Okay. We complement all the bags that we do with either a suede or a leather. So this actually is a glittery sack. So it's not just an ordinary sack we have, but a sack that is a glittery. And we make sure that to ensure that we're meeting on what the international standards are, we are actually using the concept from what we call double stitching on all our products. So this will also ensure the sacks, because it's a sacks, they don't open. So all products are properly done in such a way that we double stitch to ensure it doesn't open. We actually have shoes as well. We have shoes for ladies.
Where are your accessories? I thought you had smaller accessories.
We
Did you bring them?
Yes, it's in the room.
Oh, okay. It would have been good to see the accessories. Can we see that dress, the first dress hanging there?
Yes. Okay, so with our dresses for the ladies, we have the corporate dresses, and then we have the casual dresses. So this is for instance a casual dress that is a layer of different sack colors, and this was done with a story of square symmetry dimensions. So it's not just laid because it's sack in colors. We decided to use the shapes. So we picked shaping in doing this.
Quick question. Some people react to jute. So how do you manage that?
Okay. If you closely watched our videos, we actually have a process at which we go with the products to ensure that we control the itchiness. The sacks come in, I think when you watch the video, it has 3 or 4 types. So we have the types that are for packaging, that have smaller holes.
Okay.
And then we have the ones that are for okay, so all are for packaging, but what happens is they are from different things. So we have the ones that are for like beans, rice. We have the ones that are for cocoa.
What causes the itching? Is it the jute itself or what it's
Okay, what
was
causes the
put in it?
itching is because it's from the Haitian tree. And the Haitian tree for the jute, that brings us this jute. The Haitian tree is spiky. So it's
Okay.
beaten to get the raw strains. And then when we get raw strands, as soon as that comes out, it's woven to give us this. So naturally, that tree has that thing.
So is
For
it
us,
that not everyone can use it, or you have a process where you
we've
treat
processed it.
Okay.
So what we've processed is, with each product, we have a different type of sack we use. It's not because it's sack, we just pick it. We use different sacks, and then we steam control. So there is a steam control as well as a lock dyeing that helps to bring down that
Okay.
itchy levels. Yes.
Okay, good to know. I'm sure Petra would want to know. So, in creating this, what's your target market? In your mind, what does a picture of your clientele look like?
Okay. So at J'Karta, we serve everyone except kids.
Petra will have a lot to say about that.
We serve everyone. What we do, we serve males and females, and then we serve as well the aged, which is we look at the young executives between the band of 18 to 60.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you'll see why that is not going to work in business.
Okay.
You can't be all things to all people. And a lot of the challenges that you've listed that you wanted us to help you address, I think it actually comes from that. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we would look at what your target market should be and how we can make sure when we identify that you're actually serving them in the way that you should. And I think a lot of these issues that you've listed, other than the ones that are for Frank, your books of accounts, you would see how they now begin to make sense. So, viewers, we've met J'Karta, and you've seen the beautiful products they're making, but there are challenges, and when we come back from the break, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we would delve into some of those challenges, and we'll start with the marketing issues. So please stay with us, and we'll be back very soon.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever enquiries you have, they're always ready to answer, and that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is J'Karta Gray, the CEO of J'Karta Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back, viewers. We're in the studio with J'Karta Jute Ltd, and they make clothing, accessories, bags, shoes from twine, from the jute sacks, basically. Yes. Okay. And just before we went on break, we were talking about their marketing, defining their market, basically. I have here some of their accessories which we got during the break. I don't know what you guys think.
Very beautiful.
Okay.
Good.
But does this serve all the market segments that Ogbel said she's serving?
Yes, so it's a good segue for us into the conversation. Yes. So, Ogbel, you mentioned that you're serving everyone except children. Okay, so first of all, you said you're serving everyone, and then except children. So you've removed a group of people already. And then you said you're serving people between the ages of 18 and 60, which is quite broad.
So what if you're 61, you can't carry her bag?
Yeah. Okay. Or if you're 60 and you feel like you're 17, you can't carry her bag, which is cut off from.
I have an auntie who is 80 and feels like she's 60 now. She can't carry this.
We would. What I'll try to do is just try and explain to you why this is can be a bit of a challenge, because even in how you produce the different designs, you've segmented. You've decided that this is for a particular age group of male, this is for a particular age group of female, this is for a type of person. And so you might not be clearly defining it, but you're doing it. Okay. So the idea is that once you decide on the product you want to offer the market, you also unconsciously, or it should be conscious, but you've also decided the type of person who you want to sell to. So in this big group of 18 to 60, you've decided that there's a particular type of person who would use my handbag, who wear my shoes, who use the bracelets, the accessories and everything. Because if you think about an 18 to 25-year-old, what they would want, what they will wear, what they can buy would be different from someone who is maybe between 25 and 35. Their lifestyle, their taste and preferences, even their access to finance, to their ability to buy may be different. If you take someone who is between 40 and 50, what they want might be different as well. So it's important that you define in this 18 to 60, even if you want to serve everyone, what are the different products, what are the different offerings that you want to give to the different groups, so that you can clearly target them based on their needs, based on their income, based on accessibility and different things like that. So it just makes it easier for you to define. And the reason why segmentation and targeting is so important is that it then drills down to everything else that you do. How you communicate, the messaging you use, the tone of language, where you communicate, where you decide to put your products. If you're advertising or you're trying to reach people between the ages of 18 and 25, you might want to do something on university campuses or where a lot of young people meet. If you have designs or products for the older people, you want to know where to go. I use this example quite often. You hardly see Rolex have a billboard. Have you ever seen a Rolex watch on a billboard? No. Or there are places you don't see certain brands advertising because their target markets are not there. And that's why this is important. So even though you want to do different things for different segments, which is fine, it's just important that in those segmentations you clarify which ones you want to do and then which ones you can target the best.
Can I also come in? I also think it's crucial, and I almost see an identity crisis among the products. So you have a good cause. The whole eco-friendly brand, it's fantastic. But if you had done the defining your market and some market research, you'd have been very clear who is the kind of consumer who really cares about the environment. And then you'll also be carrying that through. So you won't put, I don't start with jute and then I see plastic bits. That's an identity crisis, because the eco-friendly and the plastics don't go together. So you must the story must be consistent. And if you had done the market segmentation and the research, then you would have known that the people who care enough about the environment or can afford to care about the environment, even though we all should, are in this kind of bracket, are in this kind of age group. What do they like? Would they wear this? Or they would want real gold plus the jute. So it would influence the materials you are using, Because if you are selling to a premium market, you won't put this packaging. But if you've done your market research and they're telling you anybody can buy it, then this packaging may work. So I don't know what the market research you've done to support this. I also see, when did you start the business?
It's a year.
Exactly. I see too many product lines for such a young business. I'm seeing menswear. And then again, let's look at the colors. Which man, like she was saying, what's the target age group that will want to wear a blue suit with the jute whatever? Have we defined that? Can they afford it? It would also affect your pricing. You're doing menswear, you're doing women's wear. Then you're doing products that are very difficult to manufacture generally. Bags, quality issues. Shoes, very difficult to manufacture. Slippers, I saw some flats, those may be easier. Accessories may be easier. But I think for a business that is a year old, it's too many. So now the question now becomes, these products, are you launching them based on what customers are demanding or based on what you are putting out? You're in business to make money. And you are creative. So I totally get it. With creatives, you want to create and produce. But to a certain extent, it should be market-led. I don't see market leading. I see you just putting out what you're doing. So, but you're in this to make money. It's not a hobby anymore. So it's almost like you're sitting at home making soaps and just, I want to mix this and I'm putting this out. And I'm not sure you're pausing to listen to what does the market want? What do they want to buy? You have a good story, a good philosophy, and so you have the makings of a great brand. But I think you need to pull back, do this market definition. And when you really define your market, then you'll know what materials to even use, and it affects your pricing, affects your placement, where you're placing the goods, affects where you're
how you're communicating.
Where you're communicating, because you need to know where your customers are. So if the customers, your target market customers are on Twitter and you're on Facebook and you're marketing there, there's a disconnect. So I think there's a lot of homework you need to take a step back and do. I know you're itching to get into some numbers.
So thank you, Obiel. So quick one, I've gone through, I don't have much here in terms of financial, but at least there has been a start, which is I have a bank account from you, which you work in a bank, so that's a bank statement from you. Work in a bank, so I expect that you do that. But we don't have much. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about how you started financing this project, and also maybe how much sales you make in a month, if anything?
Okay. Thank you. So currently, the business turnover, I would say, because it's a startup business, and I had to actually be doing everything on my own. I mean, my bookkeeping hasn't been too good, but it is an estimated value I would give you, which in estimation, we're looking at about 2,000 CDs in a month for sales. Yeah? Okay. So that makes it, bringing it to a computed value for a year to about 24,000 in a year. So
that's the turnover.
That's the turnover.
Okay. And that takes care for all you have about 8 employees you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. It looks very tight to manage 8 employees with that.
It is very tight. And that is why for a startup business, I've come in here to take the experts' advice, as well as to find out what best in terms of grants, in terms of support. If I actually had certain things which were in place, we would have more resource skills, we would have better infrastructure.
Let's roll back. You're scaling up too quickly and too fast. Why do you have 8 employees?
Why do we have 8 employees? Okay, the number of employee count is 8 because it's a startup.
No, what are they doing for you?
Okay.
A startup doesn't have to have 8. We've seen startup with 1.
Because we are producing in lines of different things.
Exactly.
We have production that has an count. Then we have marketing that has account. And then we have sales that has account. So in those 3 teams, we actually have 2, 2, 2 to give you that count of 8.
I mean, look.
2 production, 2 sales, 2 marketing.
Founder. Because I have to pay myself.
Yeah, you have to, and who else?
So, and then we have the...
That's 7.
We have the accountant or the bookkeeping person who...
All in 1 year.
All in 1 year,
Okay.
yes.
We need to go on a break.
Yes.
When we come back, we'll look at the startup with 8 employees in 1 year and how we can break this down. We need to go on a break. We have a startup with 8 employees. When we come back from the break, we will break this down a bit.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever enquiries you have, they're always ready to answer. And that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is J'Karta Jute, the CEO of J'Karta Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Business Compass, and we're talking to Miss Obel Bedwe-Majub, and we're looking at her business, J'Karta. Yeah, is that how you say it?
J'Karta.
J'Karta. Okay. So, J'Karta is a 1-year-old company. They have 8 employees.
Yes.
2 in production, 2 in sales, 2 in marketing. The founder and the accountant.
Okay, so the question
hold up.
It's not permanent employees.
Hold up.
So
Let's
that's
just
something
finish. Hold up.
I have to also let you know.
They started last year. They have expanded their business into Ivory Coast and Liberia. And they are hoping to go into Nigeria in 1 year. Okay. Now, you said these are not permanent employees.
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
Okay, because it's a startup business, it's very heavily reliant on third parties. So these third parties have basic MOUs, so memorandum of understanding. So what happens is with these teams I'm calling out here, on our count we'll say they are 8, but have no contracts permanently with J'Karta.
But you're paying them every month?
Yes.
Okay.
So we pay for the third parties based on volumes and production.
Oh, well, let me tell you what you're doing, and this is my sense of it. You have a baby. and you have a classic thing in your mind about what a startup looks like, you need to discard that image very quickly if this business is going to succeed. Because if I listen to you carefully, you've used that phrase, because we are a startup, several times. There is you have a fixed model of what a startup is. Wrong. Every startup depends on the business. The business depends on the personalities, the business philosophy, what you're producing. The second thing I see here is you have a baby. You have decided that at 3 months, this baby must eat solid food. The baby is throwing up, the baby is crying, the baby is complaining, and you are still insisting that because you are a 3-month-old baby, in my mind, you must be eating solid food. You can't be a 1-year-old company. You're producing all this. Count the product lines. You have earrings, you have bracelets, you have shirts, you have casual dresses, you have formal dresses, you have men's suits, you have women's high heel shoes, you have men's full shoes, you have men's slippers, you have women's slippers. I've counted 10 different product lines. Most 1-year-old companies in this kind of market would probably be producing just one thing. I didn't even count the handbags. They would start with one thing, and it can be just a jute jacket or a jute satchel or something, and then they keep building on that. So as the market demands, then you respond to the market. So you're selling jackets to your clients, and then I say, oh, I would love a bag to go with this, or a belt, and then you give me that. And then you must have a process of testing the product. You must have a group of customers that you use to test. And you say, oh, I want to bring out earrings this month. And then you sit with them, and then they tell you, okay, this is our feedback, and then you refine it, and then you pilot it, and then you know whether to go big. You are just putting money in, and you're producing, and you're going and saying product. That's not the way business works. And then you want to take on big markets with differences in taste. Ivory Coast is a very sophisticated market in terms of taste and customer preferences. Nigeria is huge. And I've wanted you to conquer Ghana first before you even start going there. And there, at least you're familiar with here. This is home. You now want to enter a market with lots of designers. Lots of people doing things not only with jute, but even with water hyacinth. They found a way to treat the weed and make it into products. And you are not even doing products, which may be easy, as in iPad cases and placemats. You're doing garments. It's a difficult thing you're taking on. I think you're running too fast, too quickly. I don't know, maybe Frank and the numbers will tell us something different, but that's my sense. That's my gut sense.
I mean, looking at the numbers and even your bank statement, unless there's not complete, I don't see how these numbers support the business model you have. And also, I believe maybe you are putting a lot of your own resources in. I don't know if you know how much you yourself have invested in this business from your own personal resources.
Can you compute it?
Do you know?
I'd rather not disclose it.
No, don't disclose it, but can you compute it?
It can be computed, because what is happening is with the business, I maybe have to direct the philosophy as well. So let's say we take a certain brand, for instance, a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton, just like you're saying, they have different things that are for the product. That was the whole idea for bringing it up. Some of the things, like you're saying, into the markets have been tested. The sophistications of certain products have also been done. Another bit about it that has to do with the numbers, like you're saying, the investments, the business has certain levels of investments that is pushed into bank statements that you see now, because it's given an inflow for a test period. So it's tiered. I mean, I'll use the financial language. It's tiered for what we give it for a period of time. So maybe in tier 1, you may see a value that may be showing on the statements as that, but there's a stated capital that is there for the business.
Okay.
But you didn't answer the question. Your personal funds that are going into the business,
Yes.
are you tracking that?
I am tracking that.
That's it.
But I'd rather not disclose.
no
No,
problem,
nobody
no
has asked you
disclosure.
to disclose.
So,
You see, you're too much of a banker. You're jumping the. Nobody has asked you to disclose it.
How long do you think, given the pattern of revenue you just spoke to us about, how long do you think you can make enough profit to recover your investment, or at least stop?
Not from
putting-
invested funds.
Yeah.
From
From business.
what
From
you call
the
it? From
business,
business.
yes.
Yes.
From
How
business.
long do you think it take for you to sort of even break even? That's make
Operational
enough
profit.
money from the business itself to cover all its costs without you supplementing it? Do you
I have given the business 4 years.
So
But you see, again, you're not answering the question. You exactly what I was saying. You have given the business. You have decided.
No,
that's
no.
that's not what he asked you.
Because it's actually, I'm answering it on behalf of the business.
No, he's asking you when, from looking at the numbers that we're seeing today, because if he had it, he could tell you when can the business generate it, not what timelines you have given the business. It's an essential difference.
Yes.
That's what I keep saying. You are pushing the business. This is what you're doing. You're pushing the business. You must get to that point by this date. You're not letting the business evolve by itself. When can the business produce those numbers?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
Okay.
In 4 years.
What was turnover based on turnover last
based on turnover last
in
year?
the first year?
Based on turnover in the first year and demand as at this year.
Okay.
Demand should be turnover. Has the demand translated into sales?
It would turn over into sales.
It hasn't yet.
It hasn't.
Okay.
Because there are certain things that are in course for productions, which is no more going to be on retail, but on wholesale volumes.
Okay. Better. That's good. So now you're going to do based on orders,
Yes.
commissions.
Commissions.
So they pay and then you deliver.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay. So you also mentioned that you just have an accountant, so you haven't kept the whole
Bookkeeping
books.
hasn't been good.
Yeah.
Because
but
I
I'm
was the
sure-
same storekeeper, creative director, marketing, everything.
Okay.
So it's
we
normal. It's normal with a startup.
we should expect that it will be taken care of going
It-
forward.
yes, going
okay, so
forward,
then
yes.
there's no need for me to address much there.
No.
So
Okay.
you don't want any support with bookkeeping.
With bookkeeping, accountants would also would take that from me.
Okay.
So
And how
all
would you
the
understand
so
what-
they're going to what they've started is to register stock, register assets, and then register all other things that are being that have been booked from the period of start till date. So
Okay.
they're working on that.
But you should still know about it.
For myself, I do
Yes.
because I give them the values.
Okay.
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 All
Then I think she's fine. At least the thought process tells me that they are on track
Okay.
somehow to track some of these things. So yeah, great.
Okay. What were the other challenges?
She had a question. She wanted to clarify something on marketing.
Okay, yes. Back to the marketing.
Okay, Petra, with the marketing aspects, we came into the market with a segment, which was for men. We came the business J'Karta came into the market, which was a segment with the men.
Okay.
In process, we had a lot of men that come in and requests for things for women.
Okay.
And then what happened is most of the things you see haven't been mass produced. So they are like catalog studio products. So you have this bag there. It hasn't been mass produced, but in our catalogs, it is there with a name. So maybe we call this Zara. So we give it a name, and then it's in the studio. We have a studio for all the products. Then after we defined these segments, it then came to functionality. So we actually now started to look at the products to serve the function for both male and female. So this is how come it's driven us all the way down to now produce products that you see today in different categories.
Okay. So essentially, you're still going through the product development phase,
Yes.
where you're
Yeah.
testing some of them, you're refining
In
it and clarifying it. That's perfectly
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So my suggestion would just be that as you go through that process, you become more and more sure about which products you want to focus on, produced properly at the best quality, the best price for the group that
pricing,
you want to.
A bit more
you want
business
to
minded
focus
and not
on.
passion driven.
Yes.
And then what you can do better than your competition. So that's very, very important.
Are you mapping the competition?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking
So
at
once
their
you're
products.
thinking of all
so
of those
what
things.
what it is because we want the business not only to sit in Ghana. We're looking at just our current countries that are next to us and within our bordering region, which is West Africa. So our competitors, that's why she mentioned Femi Bags.
Yeah.
I've had a meeting with Femi. There are some stories that are within our businesses that are, she actually also started just like I have.
Yeah.
We all go through it. It's a process chain. There are certain things as we go on with the accountants, I'll speak into it again when they come back, that has to do with machineries. We'll come back through that, and then that would also define the sophistication she has also said about the products.
Okay. Ogwell has a very big idea of what the vision should be and the product range and everything. When you talk about cataloging and everything,
vision is not her issue.
Yes, I get the
Vision is
sense
not
that she has
Ogwell's
all
issue.
of that
The problem is she wants a vision
now. But just from a
Baby
product
has to
development
breathe.
phase, yes, from a product development phase, there has
yes.
to be a phasing of it,
Yes.
and there has to be a method to it, so that you also become clear in your research and development.
Okay, now I want the break. I need a break to just think.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, well, needs a break too. So we're going to go on a break. And when we come back, we'll now see how we can finance this, your big vision, because there's a big vision there and it's really driving you. So viewers, let's take a break and we'll be back shortly.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer, and that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is J'Karta Jute, the CEO of J'Karta Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still talking with Ogwell and we're looking at her amazing range of products, and now we're going to figure out how we're going to finance it. So if you are watching at home and you are producing or you want to produce, you have a passion, send us a 1-minute video to 026-300-5055 and we'd be very happy to bring you into Ogwell's seat and discuss it, or we may just send you a response via video as well. but don't hesitate. Well, so
Yes, Charlotte.
the widest range of any one-year startup I've ever seen, and I'm happy that I don't have to figure out how you're going to get the money for. You say you need what? You have challenges with raising capital for the business. Why am I not surprised? Machinery, that's linked actually. Maybe raw materials is a bit different, but let's talk about that, Frank.
Yeah, so I mean, listening to her carefully, I get the impression that you are still in the product development phase. And at that phase, usually the financing is tricky. And so you may still have to depend on your own sources of finance to be able to develop products. And then you have to get the products tested. The market has to be stable, well-defined, and you must sell and hit a profit phase before you can go through the traditional sources of financing to generate bring any third party in to sort of support you in terms of financing. So it leaves you in a situation where maybe the only route probably that we should be thinking about is either you go for things like online crowd financing, where people generate monies on internet to be able to push a certain agenda. So in this case,
especially for the eco-friendly.
In this case, your agenda is eco-friendly thing with the jute and all those things. So that could be your first point.
Okay, so well, what we're basically saying is this: the only way you can control the attitude and the delivery of the people who are helping you in the production line is when you have control of them. So, if it means putting your capital in there, then that's what you have to do. You have to recruit, and then you are managing them. But that can only work if you also, back to the original message, reduce, scale down a bit, so that they are doing the same thing. So, for instance, assuming you were doing the laptop bags, when you have 2 people in the production doing laptop bags, the first time they're doing it, to get it to the standard you want, they may spend a whole week producing 10 bags. But you're on them, you're checking the lines, you're checking the dimensions, you're making sure the quality is consistent. After a month, you may find that they can do double in the same time frame. In a year, they're doing even better. Then they have it's like, because they've repeated it so often, they can almost do it sleepwalking. You will see that your standard becomes consistent, quality becomes consistent, and you are more confident marketing because you know what you are putting out there. And then as they get better, then you now go back to what Petra was talking about. You start building anticipation, create a buzz, you're adding another line. While you're doing that, they are also practicing on the new line, and then they get better and better. But when you are turning creativity into profit, you must also have control over the spectrum. Otherwise, they'll fail you on the quality, and then your brand carries the damage. So I think for me, my message is clear, honestly. Scale down. It's a startup. Give the business the time to breathe and to grow. And then you can now take all this advice from the financing side and put it in. I do understand your problem. A creative who has also been a banker, there's too many things attacking the business. You have the banker's mindset. So when you start talking, you're talking like a banker. But it's not the same mindset you need to succeed as an entrepreneur. And then you're also in a hurry because you know what you want. There's a big vision and it's driving you. But remember, even in the Bible, it says the vision is for an appointed time. There's time for it. It doesn't mean it must happen today. Yeah. So I think we need to go to Coach's Corner. Let's go listen to Coach Bell, and when we come back from Coach's Corner, we will wrap up this discussion.
Welcome to Coach's Corner on Business Compass. I am Coach Bell. Tonight's episode is about expansion. Growth is always good for any business, and for any entrepreneur to grow is to expand. A second location sounds great, but it requires a lot of capital that you might not have. Not only that, it also puts a lot of pressure on you because you suddenly have to deal with twice the stress on your life. But there are creative ways to grow your business without necessarily opening other locations. First, do what is hard to do. Many small businesses play the "I am a small business" card. I am too small to do this or that. If you want to sell more, you have to stand out. Be willing to work harder and be more creative than your competition. Do what online shops can't do. Focus on the touch and feel of your product. Business is about experience. Create memorable experiences for your customers and enjoy the growth which comes with that. 3, organize events to attract more people to your business. Make limited time offers. Organize a product or service demonstration where you teach your customers about your service or your products. That's how you grow without physically expanding. And that's our show for tonight. But before I go, let me leave you with this proverb from Congo. No matter how full the river is, it still wants to grow. See you again soon.
Thank you, Coach Bell, and welcome back, viewers, from Coach's Corner. We still have J'Karta Jute Ltd. I'll never get this name right. J'Karta Jute Ltd. And we're talking how they make clothes and accessories from jute. Very worthy cause, but we need to find a way to make them profitable. Okay, we've had a long discussion. Frank, what are your closing thoughts?
My thoughts.
And when you close, tell us your recommended truck for Bell.
Great. So my thoughts is that, like, we haven't reached where we will be making money yet. I don't know the extent of your personal resources that you have to push this business, and if it's limited, then it's challenging, and means that you may have to shorten some of the processes and get a marketable product out there to start generating profit before your 4-year target, so that you get something to run the rest. And yeah.
Okay.
Your recommended track? Well, I think strategy or track? Structure?
Strategy. Okay.
Strategy.
Or structure. Okay.
Yeah, I think structure would do.
No, we haven't concluded. We're debating it. Petra, what do you think? What track? And your closing thoughts?
I would just say that Ogbel just has to work maybe closer with the marketing team to clarify what the products should be. The products in different phases of the business, so that you have a well laid out plan on how you want the life of this company to be, so that the products would continue to help the business live a very profitable life. There's so much you want to do, but you have to tie that to what customers want and what will be profitable. So it's not just all of the visions you have in your mind or all the images you have of different products, but what can actually be viable. And that's where marketing research comes in. So if you can invest a bit more time with the marketing team, I'm very excited to help you if you want, just to clarify those products that we can start with, grow with, what we want to develop, how we want to develop them, and how we want to communicate them, because that's also very important. I noticed that you have a quite an active social media presence, but it just has to be well defined, and then you keep putting in new things into the market at different times. So with that, you should be pretty much okay.
What track?
I would say KYC.
Okay.
Because I think our conversation started with the very broad, we want to serve everybody, and then we've sort of we've drilled it down a bit. So my homework for Ogbel would just be go back and think about who do I really want to serve at what point. Yeah.
You know why I would agree with you? 2 reasons. As a former banker, KYC resonates and I really think, for me, honestly, I don't think that you've really defined very clearly in your mind who your customer is. And when you go beyond the definition, then you really have to know them. And understanding that in business, especially for a creative, it's not about what you want to put out there, but it's about what your customers want. So you have to tweak that mindset. It's not I have all these dreams, these colors are buzzing in my head, so I must give it to the customer. You really need to hold back and understand your customer a bit more. And now start asking, in knowing your customer, you'll be asking them questions. And you've been in banking, so I know you can understand that. What do they really want? And remembering that this is now a business. You need the customer's money. So it's about their preference, not yours. So yes, KYC.
I think I agree with them.
KYC.
Now,
you need to roll back. Let me push that to you. Let's see if it will go in a straight line.
The track knows. Oh, the tracks know their own.
Yes. But thank you, Belle. It's been a pleasure having you. We've learned a lot about the industry. Very exciting stuff. We like the philosophy of your business. We like the unique thinking and the creativity and the ideas. We just want to see it profitable. And we hope that the next time we speak to you, we'll see some good profits rolling out and would have a picture of your customer. But we're here to support. If you need any help, even after this, please feel free. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Frank. You guys were amazing as always. Thank you, Fiducia Services Limited. Thank you for all of you who have supported us, and especially you, the viewers. Thank you for watching. My name is Charlotte Osei, and I look forward to seeing you next week on another episode of Business Compass. We're still the GPS for your business.
The key thing is to define my customers and then make sure that we are serving that particular customers at a certain period of time. Slow down the pace of production, catalog the new productions that are new creatives that are supposed to be done, and ensure that we studio patent protects them so that nobody takes those designs away. And also to ensure that in doing the business, we define the segment markets, because we want to be a leading Pan-African company, and slow our pace into entry into other West African countries.
Thank you.
The business tips are proudly brought to you by First National Bank.
Hello, I'm Petra, and today we're going to be answering a question that I get from small business owners quite often. And the question is, how do I go about marketing with a limited budget? And typically what they actually mean by that question is, how do I go about communicating my brand or my product or my service with a limited budget? I can't afford to do billboards, I can't afford to do radio or TV ads, so what do I do? Very, very simple. Define where your customers are. What platforms can you reach your customers at? And social media and digital marketing tools are quite numerous. And so you need to be able to define what platforms your customers are accessible on and decide how to reach them. Okay, so don't necessarily do everything, but do a number of things effectively, and then think about consistency. So if you want to build awareness about your brand, think about doing it effectively by being consistent. I'm Petra, and I'll catch you next time.